us, dear, as we learn to deal with this.
My heart is broken on this. I mean, we never think where it can happen, and it does happen. It doesn't matter where you're at. I mean, in a small community, real quiet and everything, and look at this, what can happen.
So much heartbreak and a chaotic scene in Sutherland Springs after a gunman opens fire during a church service. At least 20 people have been killed and dozens injured. The pastor's wife says she and her husband were out of town, but their teenage daughter was one of those killed. It is happening right here about 30 miles east of San Antonio. Sutherland Springs, again, just a small town there, the population less than 1,000 in that city. The University Health System in San Antonio is caring for at least 10 patients, including adults and children right now. Connolly Memorial Medical Center in Floresville will not say exactly how many patients were being treated at that hospital, but said the number was less than a dozen. The attacker himself is also reportedly dead. Police say he was killed after leaving the church in a vehicle. Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives agents are on the scene, and those at the scene say family members are gathering at a nearby community center. Our Arzo Dost is live there outside that center right now with what she is seeing. Arzo?
Well, Aaron, let me set the scene here for you. We're actually just a couple blocks from First Baptist Church. As you mentioned, take a look behind me. This is the community building. This is the community center, as you mentioned, where family members are gathering this evening. This has been in many ways a very chaotic scene. We've been seeing dozens of family members rush in and try to find out if their loved ones were hurt in this morning's shooting. Now, I spoke with a deputy who says right now they're just trying to identify all the victims still, and he said there are family members showing up here who still don't know what and where their loved ones are right now and what the status of their condition is at this moment. This is, as you mentioned, a very small community, so people who are coming here know each other. They're supporting one another, and really at this point, one young woman I talked to said to me earlier that she is just waiting and praying that her grandmother is okay. She knew that her grandmother was coming to the church this morning to pray and to go to Sunday morning services, but she has no idea and has not heard from her since all this news broke. And right now, like so many others, waiting to hear what the conditions of loved ones are. We are waiting to hear more too. As I've mentioned, they are keeping us pretty far back. They have taped off this area, and obviously that is a very emotional area for community members and for family members to gather. Just in the last 20 minutes, we saw Red Cross pull up. There are community members, other churches from San Antonio who are coming by and dropping off food, water, and even prayers during this very much needed time. We're in Sutherland Springs. Arzo Dost, KXAN News.
And Arzo, just one of several crews we have there on the ground bringing us the very latest from the scene. Lawmakers are also sharing their thoughts and prayers with the victims and their families. President Trump says he is monitoring the situation from Japan, and both Texas Senators Cruz and Cornyn shared their condolences, and Governor Greg Abbott thanked law enforcement and is asking all Texans to pray right now. Governor Greg Abbott is heading to Sutherland Springs to meet with families and law enforcement before he briefs the public. And today's shooting already sparking new conversations about church security. You know, it's a fine balance between having an open door policy and welcoming newcomers, but also keeping members safe and being able to spot someone out of place. We sat down with the owner of a local security company who has worked with about a dozen Central Texas churches to keep members safe every week.
Talk about it, sit down and have a plan. You know, after something horrific like this has happened is not the time to sit down and try and figure out what are we going to do.
Tonight at 9 and 10, we'll dive deeper into what he says churches can do right now to deter someone from causing harm.